What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you all. We're going to be going through tonight's NBA slate. Man, it's a huge one. So, the best thing to do on big slates is to try to make them small. We're going to try to do that. There's obviously, if you're multi entering a million lineups, there's other ways to go. I will tell you about my priorities, and some have changed, some have not. Damian Jones is going to be a difficult fade. I just think there's it's either Damian Jones or Alex Len, right? Like they're going to match up with Jokic. So Len is your pivot if Jones starts, but the main theory is going to be similar to what I talk about in general. I didn't talk about it yesterday, and I was right not to. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me, and hopefully it worked out for some of you. But I think tonight you really have to delay. I really like in the early games, which is all we should focus on right now because we have a lot of question marks. We have a question marks on people who are starting. We don't know what Portland's going to do to shake up their lineup after last time, after how bad it looked. But so I'll get into my main plays, but I'm just going to cover the first games real quick. Jaylen Brown and everyone else on the Celtics who's viable, basically 1 through 5, not quite Derek White, are viable. But Jaylen Brown is the only play I will make in that game, probably. Terry Rozier is probably the only play I'll make on the Charlotte side, if any. And I want to limit these because there's too much information coming. We have all of these guys. We don't even know who's starting if Damian Jones is starting, and he's like the most popular player on the slate. So just keep that in mind. Unless we have an injury in Chicago and Detroit, I think I'll play a little. I don't mind a little bit of Levine on FanDuel. But I can't quite get to anybody else's prices on DraftKings, even in a good matchup. And I'm not saying someone won't crush, maybe they will. I'd like to see Bagley starting. That's the biggest thing. He's the biggest priority I have in the early set of games. Even if he's not, I think he's a good tournament play. But if he's starting, I just feel like the 30 minutes are close to guaranteed, and the upside is just absolutely immense. So I will take shots with him. But really, that's the only priority play I have in the first set of games. Other than that, you have Rozier and Brown. You can do a 1v1, back and forth. That's fine. The other early game is the 7:30 Eastern game with Phoenix and Miami. As it stands right now, I am not going to play anyone in this game. Now, I think there's a weird argument to say that Devin Booker is the most overlooked player on the slate. And just why aren't we playing Devin Booker at 8,800? That's the one thing that keeps getting back to me. And I actually think I'm going to have to force him in. I know it's a terrible matchup and all the stuff, but Point Booker gets all the usage. Campaign turns into a different guy. And Booker at 8,800 on DraftKings, like his median should be close to 45 here. I still don't love it, the situation, but I don't mind if that's what you want to do. I think that's a really, really good tournament play, sort of like Donovan Mitchell some nights when we had Conley and other guys out. But overall, that's a really, really good spot. Miami, nothing's going to happen for me on Miami unless Butler or Caleb Martin are out. If that happens, we can adjust accordingly because we are mostly skipping the first game. So with that said, the priority plays are pretty obvious. Damian Jones, CJ McCollum, but again, the pivot, easy pivots. Alex Len, if you want, even whether he starts or not. And if you want to pivot off CJ McCollum, it's his teammate. It's a very different, I'm not talking about price versus price pivot, but like Joval is barely being projected and taking a bad game. And yeah, it's kind of a tough matchup in some ways. I think Joval is going to score 40 plus fantasy points tonight. So use that as you will. But that's your pivot off of the chalky and obvious CJ McCollum play. Now, if we don't, and we're going to know this because we're going to mostly backstack the 8 p.m. Eastern games or later. If we have no Suggs, I would go right back to Hampton as a run back, but I also don't mind everybody else on Orlando as a run back and get a little game stack there. It's a good game environment, and New Orleans without Ingram in the same spot, we don't exactly know. Herb Jones even in play in that situation. Other priorities, though. We want to get, some of these superstar spend-ups in our lineup. Obviously, McCollum makes a ton of sense. I think Shea makes a ton of sense. And I'm not thrilled about this. Like, he's a lot. He's great. His usage is the best. I was hoping he'd be overlooked a little bit today. That's really not going to happen. It's a back-to-back, and they're playing in Minnesota, and I don't know who's playing for Minnesota. So if I'm going to play Shea, and let's say 4 of those 5 guys who are questionable are out, or 3 of them, then that becomes a great game stack. If not, I don't know. I'm going to have some Shea, but I don't know if I'm going to have all the Shea. He's the other obvious spend up. The guys who may be getting a little bit overlooked on this slate are oddly some of the guys I actually like best in big games. Giannis, great example on especially DraftKings for me, because the price difference between he and Jokic on FanDuel and DraftKings, I think Jokic is like going to have who's going to guard him? Who are they even? Like Damian Jones, Alex Len. Why do you think these guys don't have starting jobs in the NBA? Jokic is going to smash. It's just a matter of how much he smashes. And then the other one is Luka. So if we get all that value, but all of these guys started at 8 Eastern or later. So that's what I suggest everybody does, because if we get the value that we are hoping for, or maybe, you can play these big studs without worrying about it. It doesn't matter. It's just we're worried about it because of all of these other situations, and we want to get some exposure to this game. And yeah, Boston's in a good spot against Charlotte. Yeah, Chicago and Detroit are in a good spot. I mean, you could make a great argument for Cade. Phoenix still shorthanded with Booker and all that stuff. If it was any other matchup, like let's say they were playing San Antonio for tonight, Booker would be like 30% owned, and it's legitimate. But it's a bad matchup. But like, is it that bad of a matchup? I don't know. I'm not sure I agree that it is. So that's the only arguments really for the early guys. Otherwise, you have all. I mean, look, if we get Russell and Edwards out again, Cat is going to be an awesome play. These are all 8 Eastern games or later. And the other one I was talking about, Luka, it's the worst matchup of everybody else. But right now, I don't have any of these guys other than even Giannis. Not one of them showing up at more than double-digit owned. If you can find a way to play these guys, 2 of them together, you can't probably on DraftKings find 3, but on FanDuel, I just think it's like interesting because we're going to have even more value than we have already. And we already have pretty good, or at least good speculative value, which will lead to big results on a small price tag. And I'm going to turn that, those are like my main things. Obviously McCollum, I talked about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to go over we need to see about LeBron, but again, later game. So really your first step is let's slow down and let's just not play much from the early games until we have more information. I really think that's the first step. And I didn't preach this last night. I preach it almost every night, but on a 12-game slate with this many questionables, God, you are missing out on some serious value if you don't play any angle of this. And this is the questionables we know of. We don't know about the late weirdness that's going to happen. So jump on into chat, say what's up, say who you like, say what you think. All right, what's up to Garrett? What's up to Green Monster? Williams? Yeah, so Williams is the obvious play on FanDuel. It's like, I don't know how you don't play Williams at 3,500. There's a lot of good plays on FanDuel. I guess you can get different, but that's really tough to fade. And I like it on DraftKings too, but I thought that was like such an obvious one, like along with the Damian Jones. Actually, he should be probably projected almost better point per dollar, but like obviously Williams is going to be 100% owned basically on FanDuel. I still think he's a great play. I love him on DraftKings as well. But I like mixing in some Keon Johnsons there. Like they don't have quite as few bodies like available as they did the other night, but it's basically the same thing. On FanDuel, you're playing Watford, Eubanks. I think on DraftKings, they'll be lower owned, so I like him over there. On FanDuel, you can throw an Ellaby at 3.6. I think Josh Hart at 5.9 is ridiculous, even though I think this game, man, how does it stay within 20? That's a tough one to try to figure out. You have this Portland team. They could lose by like 50. It wouldn't even be the slightest bit surprising. I guess if there's one really weird play on DraftKings, it would be the weirdness of trying to take a shot on Ben McLemore and just hope he gets hot. That's really it. But the other guys are all like really, really good plays. Again, these are all later games. So the name of the game is delay with too much good information to come. Unless we get something like Vucevic out, that would change things a little bit, because then the usage can go to LaVine and DeRozan. And I think you'd be wanting to prioritize one of those guys. But with Vucevic currently in, like, I don't really think we need to prioritize these first games, which is going to make life a little bit easier as we delay. I'll be in Discord to answer any questions about that. But I really think if there's like a question you have versus a guy who's playing at 7:30 or earlier versus a guy you're playing at 8 or later, it's always the 8 or later guy on tonight's slate. But you also want to have other guys. There's a million pivots and things. I'm just not game stacking the first early games, even though there's an argument to, but it's a 12-game slate. I don't think that's the right way to play. It's not how you're going to win. Guys, please click the like button before Rody tells you, oh, he's doing it. He's done it already? No, he hasn't quite done it yet. Just taking a look. Oladipo, 15 minutes. Yeah, that's about what we expected. All right, let's see. Butler is out. Okay. Let's take a moment. Let's I brought, it's a 12-game slate, so you have to bring in a little reinforcements for 12-game slates, in my opinion. You've got to bring in a little bit of the booch. Today it's the booch. That's going to be interesting. Butler out is do I say it's not affecting? No, it's affecting me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it yet. I'm going to think about this one and let some projections update. Because we've had Lowry out. We've had Lowry and Hero out. I guess Bam. I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting one. I want to revisit the Miami situation before I leave here, which will probably be in about 23 minutes. So let's get out of there. I like the Joe Val thing too, Garrett. LeBron in, great. Appreciate the updates, because while I'm going through my spiel, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything at the same time. K9 Bronco says to Mark, hey, great job on the site, Mark. Awesome job. We couldn't be happier and be luckier to be working with a guy like Mark. It's unbelievable. Making great changes. It's going to get better and better. I promise you guys. Just give us every week by week, you're going to see better and better stuff. All right. Do I think Naz Reid will get minutes? I think Naz Reid would be, at this moment, and it all depends on what's happening, right? You have Russell, Edwards, Beverly, Prince, and Vanderbilt legit questionable. If they're all out, sure. If Vanderbilt and Prince are out, sure. If Edwards and one of Edwards are, I don't know. Let's not be a game-chasing society. I understand that he put up 37 in a really weird blowout game against Portland that he still only played 20 minutes in. You're asking for a lot when there's plenty of other lots to take after. He can always get there. He's a good point per minute guy, but I'm not doing it unless a bunch of those guys are out. And by the way, they have been out. So keep that in mind too, when you look at his past results. So no, I don't know how to project Naz Reid's minutes ahead of advance, but you don't need to, because you're not playing the early guys that much. Although we're going to revisit Miami in a minute. Yeah, it's true, Rody. Yeah, nice. Everybody's liking off the bat. Booker. Yeah, Booker is definitely a better play than he was 5 minutes ago when I realized that information came in. I think that's going to be a play that you can get a little different with still, because it's going to not still project as like he's 88. I think his median here is closer to the 40 to 40, the 45-ish range, I would say. And I think he's going to be projected around 40 in most places, which is going to keep the ownership lower. If he's projected at 45, it would be a lot higher. I think that he is an interesting play, because I also think there's that 60-plus upside, which is a real thing if this game stays close. Now, they're on a back-to-back too, but you're adding Devin Booker, your most important player. It's interesting. That game is a lot more interesting than it was. I haven't had a chance to run through all of Miami's stuff yet. They do have a ton of other bodies available, and you've got Oladipo getting in the mix. So I don't know if you really would need to run a Miami guy out there, but you could certainly take stabs at any of the main ones. You just can't play Oladipo because of the minutes. Portis or Carter? Wow, that was a decision I never thought. So I'm guessing that Portis versus Wendell Carter Jr. Who's the Portis Carter? Tell me who it is. Portis is not really on my radar tonight. Always a good tournament play, but nothing stands out especially about him tonight. It's a good matchup, so everybody gets a boost on that side, but I would usually give that to Giannis. So Wendell Carter Jr. versus Porter, is that what? I guess I need to know that question before I understand it.
No,
that's not right there. Oh, there's Sheets right there. It's kombucha.
Who?
Portis or Carter? That's a really weird question that I definitely didn't expect to get. I'm not really on either of those guys at the moment. I don't mind Carter any night, as you guys know, but not really. That's not really my build right now. Sheets, what are you doing overall with this slate? We've got a lot of things that have changed. What's sort of showing up for you projection wise, and what are your thoughts?
Well, Damian Jones is showing up. This is on DraftKings. Damian Jones is showing up, and then everything else is pretty fishy. Whoa, who is this?
Brandon Williams?
No. I'd love to know who this is.
Give it to me. I got it. I'll tell you right now.
So you tell me who I'm thinking of, actually.
No, because you're saying it like you don't know who the person is.
I literally don't know who it is.
I
have a guy that's projecting at about 6x who probably is going to score like 12 fantasy points. I literally have never heard of him.
All right, let me see. Okay, I'm going to take a guess now. Not Maladon. Is it Maladon?
No. I have to play him.
Oh, Lindy Waters?
Lindy Waters the third.
Yeah, get out. Let's see what happens. This leads into my whole point sheets to me, and we just got the Butler news, so that's going to be unfortunate. But I think you really need to eliminate, unless Vucevic is out.
Wait, let's start over. The what news? Butler's out?
Butler's out.
Of course he is.
Yeah, of course. No, but I mean, this is what we adjust to. And again, though, remember, Oladipo's going to play 15-ish minutes. Mm-hmm. Hero's there and Lowry's there and Bam is there now. But I think Devin Booker is a really good play. And as you know, we've talked about so far, that's a great tournament play that is being way under projected. And by the way, his life gets a lot easier. I mean, Caleb Martin's a fine defender, but Jimmy Butler is elite, like the top level defender. I don't usually focus on those, but with guys like Butler and Bam, I do. That's why you hear me say every time when Giannis plays Miami now, I know he got there with 40 in the fourth quarter last time, but like these are matchups you actually do want to pay attention to a little bit with Miami.
Okay, so the reason why I have to play this Lindy Waters the third is one of my favorite movies was Back to School.
Love Back to School.
So remember the dive he did at the very end. You know what it was called?
The Triple Lindy.
The Triple Lindy. So it's Lindy the third and Waters.
Oh my God!
It's just got to be something, right?
Oh my God! Just because
it just has to be.
That's definitely going into
the worst takes video.
No. You know what's crazy is if he didn't have any ownership at all, that would be kind of like a fun little thing. But he's going to have some ownership. It's really going to depend on what happens to that team. But that even leads me more to my overall point, though. Like, don't we just delay outside of? Okay, I think Devin Booker is an awesome tournament play because I think he's going to be really, really low owned. And Devin Booker in this spot basically averages like 50 a game, and he's 8.8. I know it's a bad matchup, but with Butler out, not such a bad matchup. Caleb Martin at 3.9, sure. Duncan Robinson at 3.5, sure. These guys are all fine. But the real thing is, like, other than Bagley, if he starts, and Booker, do we even want to play the early games at
all? Okay, so let me just look at who's in these early games. What game is the Houston game?
Houston's at 8.
That's not early. I'm just looking at any guys. And New Orleans is later, right?
New Orleans is at 8.
Okay. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
Because you're getting information. And we don't know. We have 5 questionables on Minnesota. Like, that's a slate changer right there. You know what I mean? And yeah, they probably, if they all play, great. There's a million other options you can go to. We don't know who's starting for the Blazers. Maybe they mix it up and Keon Johnson is starting and they're going to give him the full run. And by the way, he's fine off the bench. Like, that guy was 3 for 14 in the last game. He put up 25 fantasy points at 3 for 14.
I'm going to tell you who's got to be, I don't want to say chalky, whatever it is. who's really showing up as a super play, and he's of course he's like 30% on, is CJ McCollum.
Yeah, of course. That's the obvious one. The CJ McCollum's the obvious one. What's going to happen though is Joe Val is not going to be obvious to people for reasons that I don't agree with. But I love that he played 20 minutes last night and that McCollum played 32.
Yep.
I think you have a very easy pivot in the shift in your lineups and you play Joe Val. Look, I'm going to play McCollum in some lineups. And I would argue if Suggs is out, especially with Fultz out, I will go right back to RJ Hampton because it's going to be a really good play if Suggs is out. And then you can feel, you can play a Wendell Carter in that stack. I wouldn't play Wendell Carter outside of stacks particularly, but I think he's a fine play in those kind of game stacks. But again, this game could still get ugly. It's the Magic on the road on a back-to-back. But RJ Hampton will be a priority guy for me if Suggs is out. Yeah, you got to remember that Fultz kills his action. You know what I mean? So he just becomes a defensive stud. That's it. So he'll play as many minutes or fouls as he gets to guard McCollum. He's going to be on the court. He can initiate the offense. He brought the ball up. He played the one more of the game than Cole Anthony did.
Is Anthony Simons out?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering why Brandon Williams was showing up in such a great. Okay.
Yeah, Brandon Williams is very hard to fade on FanDuel.
Good play on DraftKings too. Very
hard to fade on DraftKings, but at the same time on DraftKings, I would just say like there are other. I don't know what they are though. It's just that they could go with like giving Macklemore extra run. You know what I mean? Like just
how many guys are available for Portland?
10 right now is what I've got.
I mean, they could get run out of the building, and Brandon Williams could play 26 minutes.
They got ran out. They just to prove that point. They got run out of the building last time. He played 34 minutes.
So, I know.
So there you go. No, you're right. I mean, like proving your point. But is there a reason they don't maybe let Keon Johnson maybe handle a little bit of the one responsibility if it gets that bad? Can they use Macklemore like that a little bit? Sure, Josh Hart can play that. He's done it before. That's the only argument you really have against you there.
Right.
Guys, keep firing on any questions because I will probably be here another 13 minutes or so because I still haven't built the rest of my lineups. And I will tell you exactly what I'm doing right now, which is this. And it's the priorities are Williams, obviously.
Brandon Williams, right?
Yeah, Brandon Williams. But you're gonna want to play Damian Jones, but just keep in mind that pivot to don't go to sleep. You know what I mean? Because if it ends up Alex Len starting, you're going to still want some Damian Jones separate from Alex Len because then he'll be lower owned, but you can just pivot over to Alex Len. And also, the one guy whose projection I'm just going to call BS on today is, and especially because we have Jeremy Lamb questionable, we have Trey Lyles projected to play the same amount of minutes he's been playing. And you just lost two big men against a big team. I don't agree with this. Not only that, and let me double check this time because with Lyles, his former team. So Trey Lyles is a phenomenal tournament play. But again, all of these guys are, and doesn't have to be the one that ends up in your lineup because you're going to end up making changes based on who's starting, who's in, who's out. And there's a lot of information like that left to be done. So we don't really want to prioritize the early games, in my opinion. Sheets?
Who do you like? So you talked about Miami for a little bit.
Because that's the only early decision we really have.
No, I'm trying to make the right one. I guess logically Bam makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, he did play for Denver for 2 years. Yeah. Bam, sure.
but nothing great, right?
No, I mean it's a good play. It's just so what I'm trying to account for is that if people overreact to Butler being out, and I think that the projections kind of will. Now the thing is that's a big deal, obviously, but at the same time they were missing Lowry, they were missing Hero at points,
right?
And it's not like there's 100% guaranteed path to success. Now I love Bam, I think he's a great play tonight, but Bam is 85, and Devin Booker is 88. Bam is going to probably end up 20+% owned, and Devin Booker will probably end up 5% or 3% or something.
You think so?
I really do. Unless I mean, look at the projection sheets and tell me what they
Yeah.
think. I guarantee you they're going to favor those other
Well,
guys.
I have to do everything again with Butler.
I'm just saying, like, this is that's Booker's the one. Hey, I can win a tournament play. And by the way, you can play both those guys in the same lineup. But again, we still don't have to wait till 7:30. The only guy from the early games, and again, I want him starting, is Bagley. I think Bagley is a phenomenal play. Now, the problem is, I think Şengün, if Wood's out, is even a better play. But I still love Bagley. So Bagley is the only guy who I'm locked in on the first games. Not locked in, but like I'm gonna have.
You're locked in on. Yeah, I get it.
And then with Boston Charlotte, all I really want is a Jaylen Brown versus a Terry Rozier type of experience. You know what I mean? Rozier lights up his former team, Jaylen Brown in this kind of pace. Yeah, that all makes sense with the pricing on DraftKings. That's all I really want. Other than that, I don't really want to touch these early games. LaVine on FanDuel, you could argue for. You could certainly argue for Cade on either site. But I would rather wait. I mean, what if we get if all those 5 guys are out for Minnesota, then let's stack away that OKC Minnesota game. You know what I mean? If in Denver in literally the nut matchup, if Will Barton plays, I like him on FanDuel. If Will Barton and Bones Highland are out, that whole structure shifts and everything is Jokic. You know what I mean? Everything is Jokic. And he's already a great play, in my opinion, who's getting overlooked anyway. And then you have the run back where you have De'Aaron Fox, who has no Sabonis to deal with. De'Aaron Fox could play poorly and get 50 fantasy points tonight. You know, all of these later games are just where it's at.
Would you extend the pool there to Harrison Barnes
in the late games?
Yeah,
I don't think it really matters because 100% he looks like a good point per dollar play. Not usually a guy you want to try to win tournaments.
Okay.
But yeah, he's included, but he's not a guy I'm trying to like. I'm getting him with the hopes of trying to formulate something else, you know. And in a game stack, though, he works. I think it's actually more of a boost to Davion Mitchell and DiVincenzo. But if Jeremy Lamb is out also, oh boy, then you play their center with Fox, and then you can pick from 1 or 2 other guys to run back with Jokic, and that seems like a great idea to me. So I just think that it's all going to be in these later games. And if we get other information, guys, let us know. I'll be out in 8 minutes. CJ,
yeah, give me just a second because I actually I got to jump on these new projections with Butler out. So I have that in like 2 minutes. So
okay, you do your thing. I'm gonna
so I'll see what you think of them when.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm gonna answer a few things. Favorite FanDuel lines with value and spend up. So the thing with FanDuel tonight, it's FanDuel is super interesting, and really shame on FanDuel for not having better tournaments because I would have been all over this FanDuel.
You know what I played tonight? But before you get into FanDuel, I did something I don't do too often. I played a bunch of entries in the slam. It was like a 44 with like 100,000 for first.
Yeah.
So I played like 20 there, which I don't usually do. But for 100,000 for first, I thought that was the idea.
That's what you should do. I didn't do it tonight, but I understand doing it. I just kind of had a feeling tonight was going to be crazy, and I'd be sitting there shifting the whole time. And so I didn't do it, but I think that's what you should do. I agree. This is that kind of a slate. FanDuel, some of the preferred plays on FanDuel different than DK. Well, Williams obviously stands out. Damian Jones still really strong on both sites. The core on FanDuel would be LeBron, McCollum, and Williams, in my opinion. LeBron is just too cheap over there, but doesn't mean it's my core. It just means that's like if you're building starting from the starting point, that's where you should start. Because his price difference is enough from the other superstars that you can justify it. Other guys like Herb Jones and De'Aaron Fox, those are some other main plays for me. Fred VanVleet, Joe Val, Siakam, I forgot. Siakam, I adore Siakam. Scotty Barnes, everybody in that Toronto game is way better on FanDuel. Weird plays like Hartenstein, who's actually getting too much ownership, so I'm gonna have to jump off of that, even though I get it. But Hartenstein, I would say Barrett is a really strong play that no one's gonna play. DiVincenzo, we really need to see what happens with Sacramento. So a lot of it's really going to depend on what happens. The main thing on FanDuel that I'm stressing is wait. Maybe play one if you're playing, 3 lines. You could throw one Cade and Levine in there, but I don't really think you need to mess with the early games. So it's really going to be waiting and seeing what happens with Minnesota, what happens with Jeremy Lamb, which is weirdly like super important. What happens with Bones Highland and Will Barton? If they're both out, that's a big deal, especially because it makes Jokic an even better play. You're going to want to play one of Eubanks or Watford. I think on FanDuel, I won't have a lineup without Eubanks or Watford.
Really?
In all my lineups, yeah. And they should on FanDuel. That should speak for itself. It's actually a good play on DraftKings. I'll be using that theory and pouring it over DraftKings.
So here's where I am now with the new stuff. Not all that surprisingly, the Miami guys really didn't. It's so funny. You kind of called this. The Miami guys really didn't get that much of a bump.
Yeah, except for Bam would have been the only one. Maybe Hero and Bam, but even I just don't think they're priorities for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're still fine. I'm not going to say they won't be in my lineups, and Bam will be in a lineup of mine with Booker on the other side. But I just don't find enough reason to really go out there and play these guys. Not like a great game environment or anything. Just let's play later guys. We get so much equity by just playing these later guys here today.
So here are the values. Let me see if these the triple Indy's still in there. So the point per dollar just plays are Damian Jones still, and then there's a big gap to a bunch of fishiness. So you have like Theo Maledon. I have Theo Maledon as same point per dollar. And again, remember, point per dollar is not the end of the story. I have Theo Maledon, similar point per dollar to Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams obviously has a lot more upside. And I still getting this triple Indy guy at 6x. It is what it is. Then Bagley looks like a really good play. Getting to these New Orleans forwards like Najee Marshall, Herb Jones, and then this Aaron Wiggins. So all this is like pretty fishy.
Everything from OKC every day outside of Shea is fishy, right? Like,
right.
We all agree on that. We don't. They're going to get there sometimes. What I would do is stick to the hits, play the hits. I'll play Isaiah Roby and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't care that Roby had a down game against Milwaukee. Let's just go right back to the guy who's got the upside. I don't know if I want to get. I might end up with a little bit of it depending on exactly who plays in this game for Minnesota. And I know that sounds like it shouldn't matter, but it really should. Because if this game stays close, who are they going to play down the stretch of these games? Most likely it would be Poku, Shea, Bazley, Roby, probably one of Maledon, Krejci, Waters. It's hard to know which one. Without Trey Mann, it does make a difference. Like, that is a thing. I just don't know. It's really hard with OKC to know how to react to that because of the way they play. And again, it's going to be determined a little bit by who Minnesota has available. If Minnesota has everybody available, I actually think that makes the lower price guys like Maledon, Krejci even a better play rather than a worse play. But it makes Shea, Poku, one of Bazley or Roby, and then you got a game stack. You know what I mean? So like, it just depends on who's playing for Minnesota, and it's really hard. The two teams that it's really hard to see staying close tonight are OKC and Portland, and I think it's like, but again, with OKC, with the Minnesota situation, we just really need to know who's playing. My guess is at least some of these guys are out, and you'll see some projections pop off for the other ones who aren't, but it's hard to know because we're just speculating. Minnesota's had kind of a cake schedule lately, and they're taking advantage of it. Let's see. Edwards, Russell, and Pat Beverly. Russell is in. Hold on. Okay. Who's in? It says Edwards, Russell, and Pat Beverly out?
No.
Hold on. No, what is it? Oh, is in? Dunbar, what do you mean by that post? Because that's a big one. And I'll double check it obviously once I get off of here, but I would like to give you guys information. I like Jalen a lot tonight. I just think that there's better things later. That's it. Edwards, Russell in. Okay, so that's going to kill a lot of the Minnesota love. or the Game Stack Club. Bevan Vanderbilt out, which will bump Naz Reid up to being relevant. That's for sure. I'm not sure how the projections are going to love him. I'll let Sheets deal with that once I get out of here.
What? Who's out?
Our chat. So Wood is out. So there goes Sengun. Tate is out. Let's go Sengun. Sengun is the guy. He was my priority speculation play early in the day. I put him on my list on my plays. He is absolutely a priority. Schroeder, true game time decision. Okay. Yeah, Sengun time for sure. With Houston and with Tate out, you could argue for KJ Martin, I believe, as well. And honestly, the Lakers haven't been like, hey, we're going to stomp the hell out of your team all year, as much as it pains me. So these guys out, you should probably consider that game with like a LeBron. You could play KPJ. You could play, well, Sengun is obvious. Any of the other guys are viable. I just don't know who's starting. And again, that game's at 8 too. So we'll get an idea. If KJ Martin is somehow starting, I would absolutely play a ton of KJ Martin. But Sengun is the main play for me in that game. I don't have anything else, guys. I'm going to go to building my actual lineups, but I will listen. I think if I get out of here, actually, it'll work. But Terry, what about Terry Rozier? Yeah, that's the early game. Those guys are fine. Both Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown, as I said from about 10 times in this show, those guys are fine. I don't think I want to commit to the early games when it comes to the 8K guys, although Minnesota doing what they just did and letting us know does help with that. So Edwards is absolutely, of course, 6,300. Let's play Edwards. It's too cheap. The upside is always there. It doesn't matter if he puts up 20 or if he puts up 60 tonight. It's just a good theory play. Sheets, I don't have anything else. What do you got here before I get out of here?
I mean, again, with all this news, I just have to go back and just redo shit. You know what I mean? With Sengun and all this stuff. I mean, this is So unfortunately my reality during this time of day. So I'm gonna start doing some of that.
All right. Well, somebody get Sheets a booch. Good luck to everyone tonight. That's a kombucha thing that I was talking about.
What's kombucha?
Kombucha. It's actually a natural drink that you have. There's alcohol ones and there's non-alcohol ones, but it's really. It's
funny because when we were in where were we recently, and that was on the menu at the bar, and I asked what it was. I don't think I had it, but that's a thing, huh?
It's in California it's been a thing for a long time, but they only had the non meaning like 0.00001 alcohol, because technically if you ferment something too long it becomes alcohol, whatever.
I'll say this: Brandon Williams at FanDuel is almost an impossible fade.
It's almost an impossible fade. So good luck to those who try to fade it. I will probably try it in one tournament, so maybe that's the one that gets through, but mostly I think that's like a 95%er. Good luck to everybody tonight. Appreciate everybody, and thoughts on the site. Reminder to put it into the True DFS account, the True DFS support account, and we're gonna make some money tonight. So good luck, everybody.
So I'm gonna just keep running some builds as I update these projections here with Sengun, because I do think that's important. But hold on, I have to change my my FanDuel lineups. Let me see what I have on FanDuel right now. So on FanDuel right now, I'm sitting on, again, I'm playing 20 lineups over there, and I have 100% Williams and 95% CJ McCollum. Those are the difficult ones to fade for me. But the rest of it, I have a lot of different things. I really don't have anybody over 50%. This is very interesting. I have no one over 50% aside from McCollum and Williams. I have like 60% Luka. But that's so FanDuel. You could spread some stuff around over on FanDuel and get away with it. On DraftKings, let me see where I am on DraftKings. DraftKings, I have some weird builds there. I have some weird lineups. Just want to give you an idea of what I have. I mean, right now I have 76% Damian Jones, but I got some weird dudes. Like I got 20% Marshall. I have a bunch of Krejci. Not a bunch. I have like 12% Krejci. I guess it's not bad. I have Brandon Williams over there. I got the Aaron Wiggins, 20%. That seems like a lot. I have 25% Bagley. I guess these builds aren't particularly strange then. I mean, I do have 12% of the triple Indy. I have to have some of that, right? How can I not play the triple Indy? So we're gonna definitely do that. And I think that Bobby's right. I think you have to consider Sengun. And I'm gonna run projections. I just want to double check that. Yeah, I lost a freaking high equity tiebreaker with a 4,900 guy and girl in tennis. That's going to cost me my streak of GPP wins. But oh well, that's fine. It was 4,900, a really good play, and lost 6-7, and it's probably going to go down in straight sets. And I don't think this is going to be the slate where you can get away with a loss. So that's the way that's going to be. Also, give you a kind of a whatchamacallit, a preview. I'm going to be doing the I'm going to talk about my golf lineups for a minute. Also, but I'm going to do the MMA video probably tomorrow. The MMA card is it's like impossible. It's such a hard card. Well, that's what I do, Nick. I mean, I run my hedge fund, and yeah, for 20 years now. That's fine. And unfortunately, I haven't given stock market advice in like 15 years. I mean, I just don't. And I'm just in that stage where I just kind of manage the money and just kind of just keep to myself, do my thing. Oof. So should I wait a couple of minutes? Yeah, I'm waiting like 5 minutes, and then I will go ahead and let's pull this up. Hold on a minute. I wonder if I get dinged by the YouTube people. Let's find out. Another way to find out, right? Come on. Let's see. Okay. There it is. Ready? Here we go. This is going to be the harbinger of the slate tonight. Ready? Come on, where else do you get content like this? And this is the ultimate physics, how he gets up to this top one. How sick is this? Look at this. I mean, this is so much better than projections. Look at this. There it is. I mean, if you don't play him based on that, I don't know what I have for you. You know. So we're doing that. All right, now let me see if I can't get some projections updated here. I can't believe she lost that set. That's so annoying. She was serving for the set too. Freaking tilt. Good, she's gonna lose now. Good, let her lose. Oh, pain in the ass. All right, let's see if we can update these. I don't know about the Sengun thing. We'll see what happens. I remember when Bobby went 80% Sengun the other day. I got to like 0 of him. So I don't know what that's gonna mean. Wait, what team is Sengun on? Houston, right? Oh, they still have. Oh, he's still looking good over here. Oh, Sengun looks tough. Yeah, I think Sengun's gonna have to be the is gonna have to be the nuts there. So we're gonna update the projections, and then we're probably gonna have to do some finagling. But anyway, as I was saying, the just to keep you guys busy while I do this, the MMA card this week is really hard. I really did think that last week was extremely straightforward, and the video kind of bore that out. This week is going to be a shit show. Not that it's bad. I mean, there's some great competitive fights, but it's kind of hard to explain. But it's really difficult. So I am fully expecting to lose, but hey, you never know. I'm gonna get some, like Wednesday. You know what that means? It's like close to NASCAR and other kinds of stuff and multiple LOL slates. I like that. Anyway, golf tomorrow. I am, if you didn't watch the video, I would go ahead and do it. I'm just basically going to be on the guys that I said I was going to be on. It's the best I can describe that. I like Oosthuizen. I do like Berger, like Cantlay, Thomas. I don't like the Morikawa too much. And I'm on a really important 1v1 right now with my guy and Kenny's guy at 7,300. It's a really tough decision for me. It's really an ownership based thing. I mean, I really want to play. Well, let's put it this way. I know I'm not supposed to play. I'm between Corey Connors and Siwoo Kim for one spot in a lineup, and it's totally an ownership play. I know Corey Connors is definitely a little bit better, but I'm going to be getting such an ownership break with Siwoo Kim that I might go for it. And Kenny's really good at these 7,300 guys, so I'm going to give him a little respect. I mean, I'll give him a lot of respect, and I might end up doing it. That's the one decision in my big lineup I have to make, is whether to go to Siwoo Kim or Corey Connors. I don't want to say stick with, because that implies that I have one already. The rest of my big lineup is totally set. And then the other thing I'm considering is what to do with the Webb Simpson, because again, I like him as a low own play. I don't want to get too crazy though. I don't want to go low own with necessarily with another fishy low own. So I have to figure out what I want to do with that. So I'm going to do quick here for some quick questions. You're dying with Webb this week? Yeah, you know what? You and me both. It's fine. I mean, it's a really good GPP play, for all the reasons that I described in both the videos I put up on this slate. He's just the same he's just the same as these others in his range. And number one, he's lower owned, and number two, the people, and this is really important, the people that he's going to be owned by are just the weaker players. So, and the people that are going to fade him are going to be the stronger players, for good reason, sort of, if that makes any sense. I mean, because the sharp, model followers, they are going to play like the Russell Henleys and the Matt Fitzpatricks, because those are technically better plays, and they're kind of like the cooler plays, like the people that are showing good form, that are on the upswing, that are playing good, consistent golf, where the Webb Simpson is kind of like that catch a falling knife type play, which really nobody likes to play, and the sharp players are not going to play it. So the point is that when you play him, you're going to get double leverage, right? Well, not a double leverage. You're getting leverage. You're getting leverage from ownership, and also the people you're getting leverage on are the good players. So that's really, I think it's a really good GPP play, Webb, and of course he can miss the cut. But, he's 70 freaking 500 or whatever the hell he is. I mean, I think you kind of have to do that. Quick look here. Do I like Gooch? I do. He's going to be, and this is kind of hard the way to describe it. He's the chalky of the 7200s. And I don't say chalky in the wrong way. He'll be 10% though. If you consider that too chalky, people like to play him. I mean, he's a good golfer and he's a good, he's a good model guy. And I think that's strong. I'm telling you, I like the idea of the Webb Simpson, and the other one is the Sergio Garcia as pivots. I like that. Well, yeah, you don't have to leave. I mean, I never really think too much about you don't have to leave money on the table. You know what I mean? Like on the other hand, if your builds get you there, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I never really worry about it. The talk of the week is the weather edge. I mean, just because of when people are starting, you mean? We're gonna do that? It's too hard. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's seems fancy play syndrome-ish to me. To like predict who's gonna be on the course when the rain is the worst. Can I give you? I want to give you something to think about that as I update these projections. That I was going to say during the video, but Bobby didn't give me a chance. I mean, not in a bad way. It's not that I asked him to. Somebody, I forget which content provider, it was one of the real sharp ones, said this to me. Not said this to me. Said this, and this is really important when you're thinking about golf. Why is David Nwaba the best play now? Where did that come from? Is instead of Sengun? Is that the story? What in the hell is going on here? David Nwaba, I'm going to play? Jeez. Anyway, we'll think about that. Oh, so the point is that, and this is a phrase that I'd never heard before, but it's so strong, is that course history is much less important than course fit. And I like that a lot. Don't get too hung up on how a guy's done on the particular course. It's so much more important to see how people have done on courses that are like it. And the models do such a great job of putting together good comps that if you jack up the course fit, sliders on say Rick Rungood or whatever, you're going to be really happy. As opposed to just saying how he did on this particular course. Like give me 10 rounds on a course like this over 2 rounds on this exact course. If I'm going to overweight models, I think that's really important. But the thing is that the course, I don't drill it down that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just kind of put it in, and it's just kind of all baked into the projection. So I don't really know which guy is getting the top bump as far as the course fit. You know what I mean? Because it's the course fit is factored into also with how good the guy is in general. Like, so I unfortunately don't break it down. Which guy gets the biggest bump out of the course fit. You like it's JT for you? Yeah, it could be. I definitely think that particular course history is extremely overrated. For a lot of reasons. First of all, for sample size reasons. I mean, please. David Nwaba. That's what's happening. I really hope that that's not what's happening, but it looks like that's what's happening. So what I want to do now is this is like kind of behind the scenes. Before I update these projections with this, I want to see how reliable I think these are. Like how consistent. This is really stuff you don't need to know or see, but I do this every once in a while. I like pull up a guy like David Nwaba and do like real kind of see like how reliable I think it is. Yeah, so the David Nwaba one I'm not a big fan of. I don't really like. I don't think I like the David Nwaba projection. I'm going to look at that again. Not that I disagree with it, but I'm gonna give another look at that because I'm giving him a number that's going to get me to a lot of it. So before I do that, I want to see what the hell's going on here. I mean, like one side doesn't even have him playing, so I got to see what's going on with this. I mean, literally no. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, so let me. This is crazy. I got to do a little homework on this. I mean, it's not 8 o'clock. I mean, it's not necessarily urgent right now, but I want to take a look at this Houston situation. And I guess they didn't announce. Did they announce their starters yet? Let me see something. No, I got one place that's giving me David Nwaba with like 19 fantasy points, and everybody else giving me 0. So I don't know what to do with this. I'm just gonna probably X him. We just do a little bit of homework. I mean, he hasn't played in like forever, right? Let me just take a look at this. I don't want to publish a Nwaba projection like that if he hasn't played in like forever, right? Just take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been. Well, that's not true. 2 days ago, he did play 13 minutes. But with Christian Wood out, is that enough? I'm not doing it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to take another look at this. So I haven't updated anything yet. Let me see what we're getting on the Sengun. Yeah, so it looks as though they're light. There are a couple of places that are still light. So I'm gonna have to wait a few minutes, which is a little bit annoying, but it beats getting it wrong. 642. This is like a ridiculous sport. I mean, it's such a ridiculous sport. All right, there's Sengun. It's 35. And they're getting a little bit of Nwaba over there. But not a lot. So let's redo this. We're going to redo this. This is a tough slate. It's a very tough slate. I'm going to redo this one model. And of course, that one's now offline. I figured. Let's see. That's fine. So we have time? Yeah, 6:43. Oh, plenty of time. Kidding? Thought we were running out of time here. I just want to see what this Houston thing looks like before lock. Even though we have time to deal with it, I don't know if I'm going to come back. So we'll see what it looks like now. Okay, so one more, and then we'll rerun it, and then I'll see what it looks like. And then I really don't want to play David Nwaba. What do you think about that? I'd much rather play Triple Lindy. I'll probably end up playing neither of them, but let's see what happens. Okay. And I still can't believe. I'm afraid to see if the one place ever fixed the Royer and McIlroy projection. I don't even want to look. I'm afraid. Okay. And then we'll take a look. Then we'll post these, and then I have to change some lineups. But you can watch me do those. Actually, it's not a big deal. So let's take a look and see what DraftKings looks like now. Yeah, so Sengun is like the nuts. Okay, and Not getting Nwaba, which is good. Thank you. Still getting a little bit of triple Lindy, but I don't think that much. It's going to be the Sengun show. Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Sengun show. All right, so I'm very glad that I did that. So first, here's the order. First, I'm going to upload it to the site. So just give me a second. Then I'm going to do some builds. And this is why, by the way, people, and Mark, if anybody's listening, they're like, well, why do you have to be around to update the projections? Why can't you just have it done automatically? Because, I mean, you just need to give some of these the eye test and analyze. That's just the way it goes. It's not just an automatic API where you're just going to upload everything blind. That's how people make big mistakes. Okay, so it's now up. So now what I'm going to do is, can't show you the DraftKings, but what I can do is I could do the lineup, and then what's this? Why is now DraftKings sending me to tomorrow's NBA slate? I mean to SaberSim. Okay, so let's upload these projections to here, and let me see what I get. That was pretty cool, though. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get all of the Sengun I can eat. I think that's what's going to happen. So let's we're going to run 30 because I think that's how many lineups I'm playing. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what my exposures look like. I'm pretty sure I'd be very surprised if I didn't get 100% Sengun. I'll let you know though. Yeah, I am not getting 100% Sengun. I am getting 90% Sengun. So, yeah, that's that. Getting a bunch of this Houston actually. So we're going to change these lineups, but that's going to be the key right now. It's Houston. So I imagine that I'm going to want to change these in a way that I get more LeBron in those lineups. But I have to say that I'm kind of in the mood where I don't want to do that. I'm kind of in the mood now where I'm feeling as though everybody does that. Why do I have Terrain Prince and some, huh? Interesting. He's still questionable. That's against the Thunder. We can get that later. I'm not playing Terrain Prince. Hold on. I got to change this. Especially with what's his name back. We're not playing Terrain Prince. Who else am I not playing? Let me just see these guys. Okay, everybody else I can play. That was weird. That was weird. Let's not get more than 4 of anybody in one game. So let's get rid of that. That looks pretty good. That looks like a pretty cool lineup. All right, so now we're in business. That's the one thing I did on SaberSim is you could do is you could just treat it like a stack, and you can eliminate lineups with like more than 3 of any one player of any one team if you want to. You could argue that you shouldn't do that because SaberSim allegedly factors all that in for you already. That if they're giving you 4, then it's because you want the 4. And I usually respect their stuff more than most people do, actually. Devontae Graham, that could be a fun off the board play. There's some of the, I like these lineups actually. I like these. You're getting. I have some PJ Washington, and that's what when you're looking at GPP lineups. No, I don't think so, JJ. I don't think so. I think they're both because they're both very well supported by the projections, and that's one of the reasons I do these. I don't think that they're Galaxy Brain plays at all. You feel that way because of the name, but if you remove the name and you just look at them as data play, I know this is kind of soulless, right? But if you remove the names from that and just see what this is, you would have no problem playing both of those guys. But because you have this thought of, I don't want to play Webb and Garcia, like kind of like washed guys, sort of. I'd rather play Henley and, who else is cool? Henley and Matt Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of remove the names from them. I think you'll end up being better off. That's my opinion, at least. Okay, wait, I gotta do FanDuel now. So FanDuel I can actually show you. So let me, I can't believe she lost. I'm so steamed. That was gonna be four GPPs, days of GPPs in a row. And I don't care I didn't care what it paid, honestly. That was my theory back in poker, by the way, when it came to screenshots about how much you can, how much do you have to cash for you to brag? For you to screenshot or whatever. And what I always said is, well, when I was talking about poker, I was saying, listen, if you cash for over 10K, then you can brag. But if you win a tournament outright, I don't care what it paid, you can brag. If you win a $1 tournament against like 1,000 people and you cash for like 800, then that is totally worth bragging about. So likewise, if you win a GPP, I don't care what sport, I don't care what it is, that is a screenshot. That is a big deal. Okay, so let's what happens if we play 20 lineups? We don't need that much correlation, so let's put the correlation down over here. We'll put a little bit of ownership fade over here. We'll put some sim variance out over here. We'll play 20 lineups, and we'll see what we come up with. And again, I'm playing 20 in the slam, so it's not what I usually do, but this is what I feel like doing tonight. Let me just take a good look at what these things look like. Yeah, nothing particularly earth-shattering there. CJ McCollum, wow, 100%, and Sengun and Brandon Williams. So, oh, by the way, good call. By the way, telling me that it was not only Christian Wood but Deshaun Tate. And it's good to know why all these guys are popping up. It removes removes the doubt. Like, ooh, do I really want to? Why are all these guys showing up? Is that right? And the fact that I didn't even know why they were showing up. Oh, come on, what's wrong with my? Okay. The fact that you're able to come up with, to remind me that it's because both those guys are out. That was very helpful. So let's now replace those. 6:53. Oh, plenty of time. Oh my God. And I might even have time to double check to see if my goalies are in for hockey. Well, hold on. So I have to go back. I have to download this again because it didn't save my cut and paste. Oh, I played 30? No. Hold on. Where are my FanDuel lineups? You know what? Hang on. Where are my FanDuel lineups? I got plenty of time. Let me go back to, I'll do it all over again. How about that? I'll do FanDuel all over again. It was at 6:52, right? So there it is, right there. Luka, Brandon Williams, all right, same guys. Jaden McDaniels, okay. Play some of that. And then we will do this. Oh, why won't let me cut and paste? This is a little bit annoying. Right here, boom. Why can't I get copy? Paste. Is that right? Hope so. 999 2 846. Yeah, okay. Upload. Hopefully that Westbrook one goes away. I don't really like playing him, but it is what it is. So should I check my goalies? Let me check my goalies. First, let me check my exposures. I'm going to tilt to tennis one more second. Okay, that looks good. I like that. Ah, that's a strong line. So let me go check my goalies. I cashed in soccer today. I did nicely in soccer today, actually. Right, so let's get see my goalies. Make sure they're starting. Yep, Demko is starting. Ooh, Petrie day today. Let me take a look at that. I think it was Wednesday against Vancouver. Well, I got time. I got 10 till 10:30. I got to remember that. Demko is in. Montebault is in. Samsonov is in. So all these guys are in. That's all good news. All right. Is Shane Lowry too chalky? No. I think that nobody's too chalky this week, really. Everybody's pretty – I think the ownership is pretty well spread out. I think that Fitzpatrick's going to be chalk. I think that Berger's going to be chalk. Maybe those guys will be 25%, but I don't think anybody's going to be over 25% except maybe those two guys, and maybe not even those two guys, because there are just a lot of options that you can play. I really would just kind of play who I wanted on this slate. You know, if you like Shane Lowry, really don't not play Shane Lowry because you think he's going to be too high owned. I really wouldn't, not on a slate like this. All right, well, good luck, everybody. Tough slate tonight, man. Hope you guys get it. And that